You're listening to Pro Booth Talk, education and insights for photo booth company owners.
Welcome back to Pro Booth Talk. Lap, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us again.
So we've got a guest host on joining us today to talk a little bit, as the name suggests, about Google. Art, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and why we should listen to anything you have to say about Google Ads.
Nice to meet you, Lap. Good to see you,
Hi.
Jason. So I am a photo booth owner. I'm also a DJ. I've been doing Google Ads for a long time. Kind of intertwined a little bit. So back when I was in college, I was in bands also. So I was in bands touring all the whole U.S., not the whole U.S., but most of it. It's at some point, after playing in music, as a musician, you need your own kind of like outlet. So Sunday nights was industry night at Penn State University in Pennsylvania here. So we'd go out and we did karaoke, and I wasn't allowed to sing in the band. There were new singers, so that was my night to get to sing. So I got into karaoke, and then next thing you know, I'm starting a karaoke business because I just loved it so much. I said, hey, I can make some extra scratch on the side. Fast forward a few years, got out of Penn State. I'm in New York City, interning at a record label. And the record label says, look, you've got this agency. They really need some help. You're really good at what you do. Would you consider, talking to them and working with them? So I said, yeah. And I started working for an agency that specifically did Google Ads and SEO. And so I worked really well there, but then also kept my karaoke stuff on the side. And that turned into a couple asking me to do a wedding, which turned into me turning into a mobile DJ company, still doing Google Ads on the side. Actually, Google Ads was my main part. The DJ was on the side. Then after a while, and I still do Google Ads to this day, so this goes back all the way to like 1998, but I eventually added a photo booth to my DJ company, and now I'm actually doing more photo booths than I am DJing. I just enjoy it so much more. But, that whole ride, I go to Google headquarters in New York. I handle upwards of $500,000 plus a month in ad spend for various businesses, primarily law firms, but now I've started a second agency with the main agency I work for to handle photo booth companies, DJ companies, florists, wedding event planners, because they didn't know that sector of just general business, and that's where I come in. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's a short run of my history, and I live in Pennsylvania, a little suburb, rural area. I got 2 kids and a beautiful wife and a dog, Charlie, and they all keep me happy and sane while I'm dealing with Google Ads and doing these events.
So Google Ads, my first experience, it wasn't even, I guess, Google Ads. My first experience with like pay-per-click was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, Google, I'm sure, was a thing, but I can't remember what the company was, but it was one company that kind of sold the pay-per-click ads for pretty much every search engine. I can't remember what it was called, but it was very cheap. It was like 3 cents. Like, people didn't really realize the power of pay-per-clicks yet. And you could either pay per click or you could pay per impression. I know you can still do that in social media ads. I don't know if you can do that in Google Ads anymore.
Yeah, you can. It's not worth
essentially,
it. The impressions. So, yeah.
I lost my shirt. Like, we had no idea what we were doing, and I think a lot of people hear those stories about people jumping into Google Ads and just losing a ton of money really quick. And it scares people away. So I want to kind of hear your thoughts on that first, I guess. Should people be afraid of Google Ads? Obviously, there is some fear factor there, which is why there are so many successful agencies. Address some of those concerns if you don't mind, and if they're valid.
Yeah, no, you made some really good points there. I mean, like back in the day, it's kind of like the photo boother who doesn't know their P&L. Like, they just throwing money at a machine, throwing money at advertising, going out there and doing an event, making $200, right? And it's like, yeah, I made $200. Same thing, kind of like with Google Ads. It in the beginning, it was just that people are just just throw your money at impressions and clicks, and eventually business will come. But over time, you look at your overall revenue for the month, right? You look at, okay, I made, $10,000 this month. What did I spend in advertising? Okay, well, I spent, $2,000 in advertising. Well, $8,000 left over. But knowing where you spent your money and where the return comes from, it became more to the front of really diving down and finding out how profitable you were. Just like when we take a look at a P&L calculator for the photo booth industry, how much your equipment costs, how much your insurance costs, how much your gas mileage is, the wear and tear on your car, your insurance. I said that already once. Your meals that you may spend, your media, having to buy new equipment, all those things factor into what you should be charging for an event. We look at advertising as being able to determine how many leads that you're getting, maybe not even just today, but in the future, and how much revenue you can generate in the future from the advertising you're spending on. That's where a lot of people kind of can get confused. Tracking is something that's very important. And Jason, if I've looked at your campaign and fixed your campaign, you did a good job tracking, but we still have one more thing to do, and we'll talk offline about that. But that is conversion tracking, right? So a lot of the advertising that's out there now is able to be tracked. You just have to have somebody who knows how to set it up so that you can track it and understand and make changes based upon the data that you see coming in to your campaigns, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google Ads, whether it's TikTok, whether it's a magazine that you bought, like at the country club, like you put an advertisement in there. There's ways to track all that kind of stuff. So, and that's kind of long-winded. That's kind of the start. And that's something that's very scary to a lot of people because a lot of moving parts to understanding that. And not everybody is data-centric. And even if you are data-centric, you still need to know who somebody who is familiar with that particular advertising medium, whether it be a Google ad, whether it be a Facebook ad, whether it be a billboard.
So you mentioned briefly SEO. I feel like maybe some people don't know the difference between SEO and Google Ads. Could you briefly tell us the difference and if your thoughts on if people should focus more on SEO, more on Google Ads, or where that combination should be for a perfect marriage between the two?
Yeah. So again, with Google Ads, you're paying for every single click that comes into your website off of the channel you're on. Primarily Google Ads is what I use. SEO, you're not paying for every click. You're not paying for every impression, right? But there's a difference in terms of how long it takes to show up on the search engine. With SEO, it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease and time because you can't just push a button and say, yeah, I want to show up number one for a photo booth rental Los Angeles right now with SEO. With Google Ads, you can, but that's going to cost you. So there's a little bit more instant gratification with Google Ads than there would be SEO. You should be doing both in some way, shape, or form at all times because there's a difference in terms of the way the search results show up on the page. Google is a for-profit company. They didn't always have Google. They didn't always have ads. It was very organic SEO. That's the O part in SEO is organic. It was just results. Then they realized, hey, we have employees we have to pay, so we're going to start charging for people to show up at the very top of the results. And that's where the Google Ads show. That's really important because as humans, we have a need that we want to solve. We're probably going to be going through the first things we see, right? And so if Google Ads are on top and SEO is below it, the people who are seen first have first shot at getting those eyeballs, right? So that's the kind of difference between Google Ads and SEO, that SEO is free, but not technically free because you got to pay for somebody to do the work to get you ranked, or you have to pay the time to put the work in to get yourself ranked, which could take months, weeks, months. And then there's Google Ads, which you're paying for clicks, but it's instant gratification.
Which makes it much easier to test. You could do some A/B testing with Google Ads and see, decide you're going to spend $300 or $400 over the next 2 weeks, and then look at those two different campaigns and compare them side by side. Where SEO, it's much harder to do a A/B testing because you'll be waiting months and you won't really conclusively know what differences made those results.
Yeah. And Google has made it easier to A/B test now. So they have your ad actually has multiple options that you can put in for the verbiage that you'd like to show. And you can either do yourself 2 different ads with multiple verbiage under it, but Google's still going to rotate out those different lines of text that you've put in to try and match to the persona of the person on the other end of the mouse that's clicking. And over time, it looks at the data and says, well, this combination of text that you use in your ad had a higher click-through rate, so let's show that more. So Google actually kind of automatically gives you an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. It's more than A, B anymore. Testing and optimizes it for you for the most part. But the key is, it's not necessarily the ad text by itself, but it's that landing page, right? Or your website. And that's something else that we could talk about at some point now or later. But it's not just the ads itself. It's the website that you have and your sales process. How you're taking that person to the journey from their intent, right? Because Google Ads or Google itself is an intent engine, solving their problem. So the ad itself is a promise to solve their problem. Your website is the answer to solve their problem. And then when they finally call you, you're solving the problem. So it's kind of a journey through that whole thing.
Yeah, so it's important, I guess, to understand that paying for clicks is certainly not going to automatically turn into sales. You're just
Correct.
paying literally for those clicks, and then it's up to you from that point to have a good landing page. Does it make sense if you're paying for the click of wedding photo booth Arkansas, and people click on that and they land on a 360, they're probably going to click right back out, and you just spent money that resulted in zero results.
It could. Yeah, they could, but sometimes people will type in photo booth and they meant 360, or they didn't know you had a 360, and suddenly you've introduced a 360 to them. So you can win some battles that way too. It's possible.
Sure. But
For
when you're spending
someone
your money
who-
for
oh, I'm sorry.
ads, you don't really want to pay for possible, I would say, but if you should
Correct.
probably market for 360 and have a 360 landing page instead of hoping for possible wins, kind of target for that more
absolutely.
consistent win.
Yeah.
And what were you saying, Lap?
Absolutely, 100%. And when you get into specifics, you do that.
I was saying for someone, so I know there's companies that are like at that point where they're kind of in between. I feel like my company is right there where I should start looking into Google Ads, SEO. Like for someone like me, it's very, very daunting. Like, do you have like a roadmap or like any suggestions on like how to navigate through just transitioning into something like that, something that I've never done, or some of our listeners have never done before, because it's very daunting.
It is.
Yeah, and as someone that
Google
took like the
hides
first
for the
steps, I
Google
could
Ads part.
actually ask a couple questions that were daunting to me in the beginning, and that was just like basic terminology of everything in Google Ads with the layouts, campaigns, ad groups, listings, like all of those things. I had no idea what those were.
And there's layers to it. It's not even just you got ads, campaigns, budgets, but there's many more layers under that. And Google likes to hide some of the functionality because they want you to spend as much as possible very fast. So you kind of need to know where to look in the Google Ads interface and what buttons and levers to push in order to stop that bleeding that's going to happen very easily for someone like you, Lap, who's going to jump in. And then Google's going to call the heck out of you and try and get you on the phone with a specialist who was in a training for a month with Google and is reading from a script. I get those calls daily from every client that I work with. I'm also getting those calls too, and I'm pushing them away because they don't know half of really how Google Ads works, other than push the latest product that my manager is telling me to push because they want their shareholders to make a profit. Right? That's Google in a nutshell. So, but for SEO, there are some simple steps you can take on your own if you know how to edit your website that most SEO companies will do in that first month that they charge you for the service, which is actually probably the easiest stuff that you can do and the most impactful stuff that you can do that can be done by yourself for that first month. Learning a couple tricks, editing a couple things in your website, your title tags, making sure that your location signals are in there. And that's a whole episode or 2 or 3 episodes in itself on all those things. But you can do it. It's just you make a list of the things that you want to achieve and tackle one first. And then after you've tackled that one, then go to the next one. After that one, go to the next one. Because it's very confusing because there's so many different
Right.
facets to look at. So you got to make a list and prioritize.
So do you recommend going about it, approaching it where you go and teach yourself the core concepts and basics
Yeah.
first and then reach out to somebody? Or do you recommend
Yeah.
reaching out to a specialist? And if so, what are you looking for in a specialist? Like there's a lot of people, tuning that they're specialists. Like, what are you looking for what questions should you be asking somebody to know that they know what they're doing?
Well, that's it. And I agree. You should definitely have some knowledge. And it's like walking into a bazaar in like some country where there's a lot of theft and just with your wallet out going like, I'd like to buy something. Tell me what I should buy. And they're
Right.
just going to take your money, right? There are a lot of those in the SEO industry. There are a lot of great people in the SEO industry too who won't do that, but you don't know who's who. That's where referrals come in, where some of us know each other. It's like, yeah, go to this guy because this guy's good, and stay away from this big box company because they're shareholders also, right? So they have shareholders to answer, and they're only caring about the money. So yes, read a little bit about the basics of SEO. I'll give you one tip right now, which is your title tag of your website. The story that I give is if I were to walk into a library, and let's pretend that this didn't have any information on it. It was just a book and it didn't have any information on it. And I walked up to the librarian's table and I said, okay, here's a new book for the library. Go put that on a shelf. The librarian would look at me like I'm crazy because there's no title on it. It doesn't tell me what the book is about. So your title tag of your website is the exact same thing as the title of a book. So if I've got a book now that has a title that says Ancient Egyptian History on it, the librarian knows to take that book, go to the history section, go to the Egyptian part, and put it on that shelf, and maybe even alphabetically. Now, Google is very similar. Google is like a librarian. So if somebody is looking for a photo booth rental in Dubuque, Iowa, and your title of your website says photo booth rental, Dubuque, Iowa, then has your business name after it, Google knows what to do. It knows to serve you up probably on the first page of the search results. So that's the very first thing that you can do is tell Google what service you do, tell Google what location you're in, include your business name at the end of that, and now you have a chance of ranking on Google for SEO.
Aside from SEO, though, and specifically in Google Ads, what would you say are like the first steps of someone getting into Google Ads if they're not ready to find an agency or pay somebody to do it for them? What's the easiest way for someone to get started in Google Ads? Ignoring, I know we can't necessarily ignore SEO, but for the sake of the conversation, just ignoring SEO and jumping straight into Google Ads.
So for Google Ads, if you're going to do it yourself, the first thing you want to do is kind of get organized. Look at your website first, make sure that it's ready to convert, meaning that it's got all the pertinent information and that it looks good, because we are in a visual industry. Your website needs to look pretty. Because if your website doesn't look pretty, how are your photo booth guests and customers going to think your picture is going to look? Number two, what services are you offering? It's all about organizing. So do I offer a 360? Do I offer a mirror? Do I offer digital? Do I offer drop-offs? Whatever that is, those are going to be your ad groups, right? And ad groups are little category areas that you can put keywords in to tailor the ad. So you're getting organized first and understanding what you want to advertise for and making sure that your website has that. I'm always going to say go back to the website because you're going to make sure the website has that information. Next, you're going to go into Google Ads and you're going to try and sign up for a campaign. And this is where you have to be very, very careful. Google's going to start guiding you down a path to create something that's called either a smart campaign or a performance max campaign. And right there, they got you, because those two types of campaigns will just take your money. I've seen countless accounts that have been just throwing all these bells and whistles with no transparency on what they're showing. No, you don't even get to see what keywords you're showing for the most part. And more importantly, search terms, which are what people type in. So create your account, but don't launch it. And you have to go, and they hide it, you have to go to expert mode in Google Ads and create a search only campaign. So you actually have to create something that's search only, because the other campaigns that they're going to guide you down the path on are going to have you create campaigns that show up on what's called the search partner network, which is basically parked websites and junk websites that are made for AdSense and display ads that will show up on irrelevant landing pages and irrelevant YouTube videos. So your money's being thrown out the door, and all capability of having control is thrown out the window. So creating a search only campaign, getting to that part. Then when you get to that part of creating a search campaign, you're taking your categories that you've created, you're creating ad groups that are specific to those categories, one for 360s, one for mirror, one for drop off. But you also want to have a general photo booth ad group, because again, I don't know what they mean by photo booth on the other end. They may mean 360 photo booth, they may mean mirror photo booth when they click, but having just a general term photo booth is very important. That's where you want to start.
Is there a budget that you should start off with, or that you should stay within?
Yeah, there is. So whenever I'm working with somebody in the photo booth industry, I say your first month, you want to shoot for $300 approximately. The reason being is because any more than that, something can go wrong, or you've not optimized enough and you've thrown that money out the window. You can't get it back. Any less than that, you don't show enough or near the top enough to get the right eyeballs and to get enough data to tweak your campaigns. So I say around $300 is what someone should expect to spend in their first month. And then it can be less after that, but you really want to give yourself enough data.
And that would be like for one specific ad group, correct? Like you're going to focus on one ad group at a time and get that performing before you create a new ad group, or are you creating an ad group for each type of photo booth?
It would be for the whole ad group. And I can pretty much guarantee you the two ad groups that are going to spend the most are the general photo booth ad groups and the 360 ad groups, because there's just a lot of traffic on those two general search terms. And then from there, it's kind of like mirror, and just all down the line, it gets less and less traffic and less interest.
So it sounds like, if I've heard correctly, keywords are ad group specific. Let's talk a little bit about keywords. I know there's some people in the industry that frown on using competitors' names as keywords. I know there's a lot of keywords that people aren't readily thinking about, and most importantly, one thing that people aren't readily aware of is negative keywords, which I think is absolutely crucial to a successful campaign. And it seems like a lot of people don't even know that those exist.
What are negative keywords?
Negative keywords. It's telling Google, don't show my ad in front of somebody who typed in this particular word. So for example,
budget photo booth.
Yeah. Oh, budget, that could still be, I don't know what their budget is. So that's up to you. Like if you're a $2,000, $3,000 only event and up, yeah, budget's probably something you want to put in as a negative keyword, or cheap. Let's say, for example, DIY, right? DIY photo booth. I don't want somebody who's looking to build their own photo booth. So I have DIY actually as a negative keyword. The manufacturers. DNP,
or buy a photo booth.
Curator, SnapPig, or buy a photo booth, yeah. But the manufacturers themselves, because they're looking to buy a photo booth. So I don't want to show up when somebody's looking for Curator, SnapPig, TouchPics, a Max Design booth, a Mobi booth, whatever. All those should be negative keywords, because that's somebody looking to start a photo booth business, and I don't want to pay for a click for someone who's looking to start a photo booth business.
Right. So how much time can one expect into just initially setting up a Google ad? Like how much beyond like the organization of your own information, like actually going on, setting it up, initiating it and having it go live, like how much time should someone allot for something like that? Like, is that something that is going to take me like a week, a day, a month?
Take you a couple days. Someone who's just starting out, I can have one set up and ready to go in the beginning of my first draft, because I'll build up my account and my campaigns, and then I'll step away for a while, and then I'll come back to it, because I want to kind of give it my own QA and let my thoughts really sink in about this business. And so I can have an account done in 2 hours, but I'm not going to launch it in 2 hours. I'm going to actually wait, and then the next day I'm going to come back, fresh brain, look at it again, make a couple tweaks. Now, someone like you, who's never done it before, it'll probably take a week. If you're doing it less than a week, then you're probably making some mistakes that, nothing against you, but it's daunting, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm in Google Ads every single day. I'm looking at upwards of 100 different accounts throughout the month. So I see a lot of stuff, and it's like second nature to me. I know exactly what buttons to push, what levers to pull. I can skim a whole list of search queries, which we can actually see what people are typing in into the search engine. That when your ad showed, I can skim a whole list in a matter of minutes and say, yep, this one, negative keywords, put it in. That's because that's second nature to me. But someone like you, I would say you spend a week. Like, don't just build it and then launch it. I know we get excited. It's like, oh, there's this new thing. I'm going to do it. It's on my lists. I'm motivated. Give it 24 hours. Every time you just give it 24 hours. Yeah, let it marinate.
And then, like, once you set a budget, so you said 300 is a good starting point, right?
Like, starting point.
Yeah. When do you, during your ad, should you be like, oh shoot, this is not working? Like, I really should pull back or adjust my ad or hire a profession? How much money do you need to be spending where you're like, dude, this is not working for me. I need to go and actually hire someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like some of us are in areas where it's very seasonal, right? So the activity and the action that you're going to get off of these ads is going to fluctuate month to month. Like, so I looked back at January to May, and my hottest month was April. And I didn't really do a whole lot to my account, right? But it's just April's the time in my area when people are starting to book graduation parties. The weddings are starting to come up. Sweet 16s are coming up. Pool parties are coming up. 60th birthday party. So it was very high in April and a little bit in May. But I will tell you, over the last few years, what I've noticed in my area is that July and August, no matter what I'm spending, people aren't filling out the forms as much. They're not calling as much. And I think that's because everybody's kind of in vacation mode. And they're kind of sitting with their toes in the sand. It's like, yeah, I've got some events coming up in the fall. I'm enjoying the sun. Let's just see who's out there. All right, that's cool. I'll remember that later. But they're not ready to talk to a photo booth guy right now. They're sipping their Mai Tai, on the beach. So I turn my ads off for the most part in July and August, right? So, but back to your question of how long should I wait? Give it 30 days and make your tweaks and add those negative keywords in. Go back to your landing page or your website, make sure that's all good. And then, if it's not working out, it's probably having to do something with either your sales process or seasonality or your website, or maybe you're just too high priced in that market that you're targeting. You've got to switch focus and switch locations that you're targeting. So there's a lot of other factors that go into it. Now, I'm going to be at Chicago at the Marquee Show, and my banner actually says Google Ads don't work, because a lot of people say, "Oh, Google Ads don't work." It's like, they work if you manage it properly. They absolutely do work. But yeah, 30 days. Give it 30 days.
Yeah. So when someone says Google Ads don't work, I'd like to hear that conversation as well, because like if you're getting the clicks, that's all they're supposed to do. And we touched on this already earlier in the show, but when you do it for a month, you spend that $300, you'll see a list of things that people are actually searching for that your ad came up on, that they're clicking on. So you could see right away, this person searched for cheapest photo booth company in LA. So then you could say, okay, I need to add that to my negative keywords, and you can refine it and hone it in. And when the search terms that are coming up that people are actually clicking on you are exactly what you want, if you're still not seeing results, then it's not Google Ads. It's your own, either your landing page, your website, your lead generating funnel, whatever you've got going on to get their email address or phone number, or else it's your sales. So you've got to decide at that point, okay, I know I'm getting X amount of leads or clicks from Google Ads, but only so many are coming in and actually giving me their phone number. So let's look at the process between here and there. And if you're getting a good number of actual lead forms coming through, but not bookings, is it the price? Is it my salesperson? Is it me? Am I coming off rough? So there's really, when you're looking at your Google Ads, the only thing you're measuring is, are you getting the adequate clicks under the search terms that you want them to come in as? And if your Google ads aren't working, I mean, that's just saying that you're not getting clicks, and obviously you're getting the clicks. So if anyone says Google ads aren't working, it's really not almost ever the Google ads.
Yeah, it's most likely not the Google ads. So, but Google ads also isn't, necessarily something that you're going to get, the lead or the phone call right away. I mean, think about this for a second. You live in Las Vegas, Jason, so you know this just as much, and you're in Los Angeles, Lab, and I'm in Philadelphia. There's a lot of billboards around here. How many people do you know pull over to the side of the road and copy that phone number or website off of a billboard and immediately call? Nobody, right? Google Ads also acts like a billboard. It's awareness as well. So, but the key is you're controlling that awareness to the right people, not just every car that drives down the road, but only every car that's looking for a photo booth in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. So they may not, go to your site now, and they may go to your site now. They may not call now, but at some point you're in the back of their mind now. So when they are looking for something and they search again later, and they see you organically on SEO or a Facebook ad, there's a little bit of familiarity there with your business now and a little bit of trust. So yes, it's direct advertising, but it's also awareness at the same time. So just because you spent $300 this month and you didn't get any leads doesn't mean that those people might not see you further down the road organically or through a recommendation. Like, oh yeah, I saw that person before. Yeah, let me give them a call.
Right.
So there's value to that that initial click.
Sure. I mean, I guess to some extent, but I feel like a billboard marketing is completely different. I mean, that's just building awareness. And if someone needs that service at that time, they may pull over and write it down. Where if someone's searching for a photo booth for their wedding, they are actively looking for that product. And in my opinion, they should be calling you. And that's where, like, getting rid of that partner, I can't remember what it's called, the partner, Google partner or whatever,
Network.
That is more like a billboard, because they're just placing you on random websites that aren't looking for photo booths. They may be looking at wedding websites that have nothing to do with getting married, and it'll throw photo booth and photographer and ring sellers just their banner ads on the side of the website, and no one's looking for those. And they're more like billboards because they're just building awareness to your brand, even if someone's not specifically looking for a photo booth specifically.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the photo booth is something where, like, people are ready, but like I said, during the summer months, there's a lot of browsing going on, and they're kind of just gathering their info. I've had a couple accounts that I've ran where the business owner called me. He's like, man, this is really weird. I'm like, what? He said, like, the guy clicked on my ad, but he didn't call me or fill out a form. He just drove to my store, right? You get that. Also, we've seen cross lead where they'll come into the Google ad, but then they'll convert on SEO or Google My Business. So they won't always come in to Google Ads and convert there. They won't always come in just on SEO and only convert there. So, but you're right. There are some people, who, like in a car accident, I saw the billboard of the personal injury lawyer right up there. Yep, I'm calling in.
And it's not to say that people don't window shop. People are just got engaged and they're excited. They're not ready to book yet, but they start window shopping and searching around and whatnot. Let me ask, and this may be so new to your industry that you don't know, but I would suggest, or I would think that it's not. I know when you're doing like SEO, you want to stay away from AI generated copy because Google tends to blacklist that stuff. How does that play into Google Ads? Can you use ChatGPT and things like that to create copy for Google Ads or titles for Google Ads? Should you copy and paste or write your own? How does AI play into Google Ads?
Yeah, that's great. So AI is perfect for Google Ads because they don't care where you got your ad copy from. That's what we call the biz ad copy. They don't care because you're not trying to cheat the system. You're paying them, right? So you're allowed to say whatever you want. It's the AI on Google's side in Google Ads that you should be scared of because, as I mentioned before, Google will hide things from you. And one of those things is auto-applied recommendations where they say, yeah, just trust us. We're going to create some extra ads for you on your behalf and put our own AI verbiage in there. A lot of times it doesn't make sense and might say the wrong thing, especially, legally, right? If it offers something that you don't offer and it's in your ad, and someone holds you to that, then you got a big problem. That happens a lot in the legal industry. So we don't allow Google to create any ads on our behalf. For SEO, absolutely use ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever one you want, but the search engine has gotten smarter with AI written content. They actually detect if it's AI written content and will not consider it for ranking. So you have to humanize it. So yes, use AI written content for your ads, but don't just take word for word AI content for SEO.
So
And
in
then can I
that
go back
respect,
to
I
my
would say
question, Art?
definitely use. Sorry, go ahead, Lap.
Oh, go ahead, Jason. I think you're still talking about the
I would
AI.
say in that respect, then you should definitely use AI for ad copy, because if you are telling ChatGPT, for example, to act as an ad copy expert and write something that is keyword specific for your industry, it probably will know how to do that better than just the average Joe, or at least give a really strong starting point.
It's a good start. Yeah, it's a really good start to kind of get the creative juices flowing. But I wouldn't take every single suggestion they've got for your Google Ads. You want to give it your own little flair. And that's kind of where the A/B testing comes out, Jason's like, feel free to just like kind of test different things. Sometimes I put my price on my ad. Like if I've got, my drop off, I might put the drop off starting from this much. And sometimes I'll take it out and I'll just kind of over time see, well, what happened here? Like, did I get more leads because of that? So yeah, AI can
So
be good and bad. Anyway,
So I want to go into back to my question about, like, let's say you try your take at like SEO and Google Ads yourself, and you're like, you know what, this is not my forte. How does someone like me go about like sourcing? And I know you said recommendations, but are there any questions that we should be asking a Google Ad expert, or is there any red flags of things that they say that we should be like, okay, that doesn't sound right? This sounds like someone who just wants me throwing money at them. Yeah.
Transparency is probably the biggest thing. Can I see my own account? There are companies out there that say, okay, we're going to build you an account and we have this fancy dashboard over here that's going to tell you your results. But they won't show you the ad copy. They won't show you the keywords they're using. They won't show you the locations they're using. So really get down to that transparency. I think that's the most important thing. Whenever I build accounts for people, it's their own account. Like I don't build the account under my name. It's theirs. They can look at it whenever they want. They can see every part of Google Ads they possibly would want to see. Nothing is hidden. So I think that's the key with hiring somebody for Google Ads.
Okay. And is there a reasonable amount of money that should be asked from someone that, I know this is probably all over the map based on experience, but is there like a general rule of thumb where you would say like, okay, this is a reasonable amount of money that we should be investing into a Google Ad expert?
Yeah, reasonable is such a moving scale. I personally, I'll tell you exactly what I charge for the photo booth industry. I charge right now. We just launched an agency under the main agency I work for. If you have your own account, we charge a cheaper fee because there's less setup involved. It's more just cleaning up. So I call it a revamp. We charge $3.99 to go in, clean up your account, make sure it has all the right bells and whistles, make sure all the junk is taken care of. There's different levels of optimization at audience levels. We do all that. For a complete build, fresh, you don't have one, where we walk you through setting up your account, getting your credit card in there. You actually have to verify now, walk you through the verification process, making sure you've got your Google Business Profile hooked up to the Google Ads, because you can actually insert ads into Google Business Profiles now, or the map section with Google Ads. We charge $4.99, right? And it's a flat fee just to set it up. And then a small nominal month-to-month fee. If somebody wants me to go in there and massage the account on a frequent basis for a month, we charge $150, but that $150 now also gets you click fraud protection, which we didn't even talk about click fraud. It's software that we add on to someone's account that monitors all of the IP addresses that have clicked on your ads, and then earmarks them, and then can block the ones such as competitors clicking on your ads. So actually, I have that on my account now, where I had a competitor. Yeah, it's good. It is, and it tells Google, don't show this person the ads anymore.
I didn't even know that existed.
Well, it does, and people think click fraud. It happened to me, but it also happened to a law firm that was one of our clients. Back in 2017, I put the click fraud software program on their website. It monitored the traffic coming from Google Ads. And we actually caught another law firm clicking on his ads thousands of times. Fast forward to 2024, we took the guy to court. We finally settled after 7 years. We won $300,000 in settlement. They have to pay the lawyer's fees. The reputation is tarnished. They have to file for bankruptcy now, this law firm.
Wow.
And most likely the lead owner of the law firm is going to have to probably get disbarred from the state of Minnesota because of it. All because we did click fraud protection.
And clicks are like photo booths
real.
are much cheaper. I imagine that attorney is probably paying somewhere like $20 a click or something insane.
There's upwards of $300 a click. The clicks that we were paying on that account were probably about $50 a click. Yeah. So imagine 1,000 times 50. That's $50,000 right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So people would do that not only to cost their competitor money, but also a lot of people have daily budgets. So if someone goes in there in the morning and clicks on that competitor over and over again, then they won't be there for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And so we now make sure that's part of our monthly maintenance package, because that's just going to make a campaign that much better. I had a guy, and I can tell it was a photo booth company that was not too far from me. I was getting more clicks than I was impressions. It was every day. So I knew somebody was clicking on my ads. So I put the software on and went away.
And also, outside of just lack of understanding or not wanting to take the time to learn all this stuff, like full disclosure, I had Art, he mentioned earlier, help me with my campaign. I'm certainly not an expert, but I have my head wrapped around it a little bit. But I use Art specifically because I don't want to spend that time. Like, I'd rather just have a conversation with him every couple of weeks and have an update on my ads, rather than going and checking on them every day, because I've got other things that I want to spend my time on than monitoring Google Ads.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of benefits.
It's like right here.
Yeah.
And your traffic is good. Your search terms are great. From January to May, the most popular search term, meaning what people typed in that generated an ad, was actually photo booth Las Vegas. And it goes straight. The top 10 are all relevant. The question is, and Jason, I owe you some time to kind of go through into how things have been going. How have your sales been since we started? Do you think you've got any leads off of this?
Well, I have some data I could pull up and we could discuss afterwards. I don't have that here in front of me, but I can. Okay.
Let's do that after the call. Or
yeah.
You guys should add that to this podcast afterwards. I'm curious. I'm curious what the answer is too.
Yeah, I'm transparent and open, and if you don't have that transparency and open communication, then the campaigns can't get better. Your decisions moving forward on what you should do can't get better, right? So looking at your account, Jason, knowing that all this relative traffic is coming in, we got to talk about what happened to that traffic. Where is it dropping off, and why is it dropping off, if it is dropping off?
Yeah, if you guys want to chat amongst yourselves for a moment, I could bring some basic information up.
Yeah,
so go ahead and actually chat, and I'll let you know when I have that in front of me.
Yeah, and so anyway, when I was looking at his account, he has conversion set up. I think we need to add another layer of conversion counting or tracking to it. So that's something that Jason, you and I will do. We'll take a look at, which is geek stuff that we don't need to bore everybody on the podcast with.
But I feel like all of this Google Ads and SEO is very geek stuff, and most of us don't even understand the whole concept of it all.
A lot of it is really just logic that a lot of people in the industry try to say, "Ooh, I've got a magic wand that's going to make this happen." It's just logic.
Do you feel like just taking the initial, because I feel like there's a lot of things that we do where until you actually tackle it, because I know like some software people are like very intimidated by it until you actually tackle it, and when you tackle it you start understanding it a lot. Is SEO and Google Ads very similar to that, where it's just like just take that step and you'll absorb and understand so much more of it? Is it very similar to that? Because I keep wondering if it's a lot more daunting than it actually is. Like, if you just take that step into it and start tackling and approaching it, is it something that someone like me can easily like learn if we really wanted
Well, you
to.
sound like you're a pretty technical person. I mean, you know photography very well. That's technical, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
pretty.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So anybody who has that type of mind can probably, if they wanted to put the time into it, learn what myself and other professionals do in the SEO industry and what I do in the Google Ads industry. And I can be dangerous in SEO, but I like to focus on Google Ads, right? And I dabble in SEO on, like what I said, the first month, all that work in the first month. That's what I do. And then all the harder stuff, the more technical stuff, I give to someone else. But you could, I mean, just read a little bit, just go to, you could probably even go to ChatGPT and say, what are the top 5 things I should do for my website for SEO, and
Okay.
start
And
there.
is YouTube a good, because I know like a lot of the things that I learned in the photo
Mhm.
industry, I learned through like YouTube searches. Is this
Yeah.
something that we can easily like do a quick YouTube search
Yeah.
and learn bits and pieces
Yeah.
at a time?
YouTube's our best friend. There's just
Yeah,
anytime I need
right.
anything, I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, I am
So
too.
I didn't reach out to Art too long ago. I think we only have about 6 weeks or something like that, probably ago, that we
Yeah.
connected. So there's not going to be a lot of, the sample size is just really small, but I
Data.
can tell you in
Okay.
that small sample size that we have had about a 50% increase in leads generated, which is
Okay, that's
obviously the
promising.
more
That's
important
promising.
number. And I was doing Google Ads myself previously, so it'll be interesting to see, like in 6 months, how that collectively looks, if it's
Yeah,
consistent.
and you're in a very competitive market. We're all three of us are in competitive markets. Las Vegas is cutthroat, LA is cutthroat, Philadelphia is cutthroat. So we're going to come up against people who are being, dangled with these low prices, that we have to overcome those challenges. And that's a whole episode in itself that I think you guys could help someone like me, because I struggle with that on a daily basis. There's a lot more than I thought it was going to be. It's like, man, I got the leads. Like, what can I do to sell that? How can I turn that? Get Allenberg. How can we turn that, into the sale? They only wanted to spend 500. How can I make them pay my price, even though they have 500 budgeted? And sometimes you can't. You
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't turn an
sometimes
apple
you
into an
can't.
orange.
And a lot of times they don't even have a $500 budget. They just don't know what to say. They don't know what a photo booth should cost, so they just
That's a number
throw a
someone
number
told
out.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's a
Yeah.
number that they saw somewhere.
So that's good. That's good to hear, Jason. So a 50% increase in leads since we revamped it. That's positive. That's a positive movement.
yeah, 50% is outstanding. So hopefully that
Yeah.
we maintain that same increase, because I mean 50% of
Yeah.
lead generation anywhere is incredible.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to know what your seasonality is like in Las Vegas. It gets freaking hot out there. Like, does that affect anything at all, events wise?
Yeah, summer is
You're the
absolutely
only person who can
dead
tell me
for
that.
us. A lot of our business
Mhm.
is bulking up the savings account so that we can kind of coast through the summer, because like a lot of the time the summers we don't make enough to pay the, like, I've got
Yeah.
a lot more overhead than most photo booth companies. I've got a large office staff, and it's very hard to make enough business in the summer months to justify that. But fortunately, throughout the rest of the year, we have enough that we can kind of average that out in our summer. But
Yeah. So you're kind of in the
summers
same.
are slow,
It
and we
sounds
do
like you're in
have
the
pool
same
parties and
scenario.
things, but it's still so hot that, like, there was one summer that we literally had to do like put our roamers in dry ice, and we had 3 roamers. 2
My
are in dry
God.
ice, and one would roam around for about 8 minutes, and then we'd have to come back and exchange it for one
Oh
of the other ones
my
that were in the ice, and it was just
gosh.
like a
That's
constant
crazy.
transfer. So it's very hard.
So you got to add
With something like that, you need
also
3
dry ice to
roamers
your
for
to
a
your
one roamer
quote.
job on location.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, it's tough. Anytime someone's like, "Yeah, we're getting married in August," or like, "In Vegas, are you insane?" They're like, "Oh no, it's in the evening after the sun goes down." We're like, you haven't been
That's
to
still
Vegas
freaking
in
hot.
August apparently, because the sun just is a direct heat. But I mean, we're still like 103 at 2 in the morning. The heat just doesn't
It's
go
gone
away.
from broil to bake.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we get
So
hot here, but we're really busy in the summer. We have like concerts and we have like premieres, and I don't know.
yeah,
I think maybe like January might be kind of slow here, but there's always things going on here in LA. But
January is
May,
pretty good for
June,
us
those
with
are,
trade shows.
Yeah, here May and June we're so busy here in the summer. Like weddings and bridal showers and baby showers, a lot of birthdays. April we're super busy. Those are like our super busy months.
We are in April as well,
Interesting.
but June,
So
July,
yes,
August is really hard.
yeah, January is turning out to be kind of like a turnaround for me. For some reason in January, now I'm getting like the Sweet 16s and like these bought mitzvahs that normally wouldn't book. They're like, those are cheaper months. So they're kind of like saying, yeah, let's do it in January because it's cheaper. But then in my house, it snows. So it's a gamble because if it snows and everything's shut down, they're kind of screwed.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine the rain, the snow. Doesn't really
Yeah,
get like
Yeah.
that in California.
don't have that
So
either.
maybe we'll pull down the ad spend a little bit during July and August. We'll have a discussion. We can make that decision offline.
Yeah, we'll look at that. I was trying to think earlier when you mentioned there's times that you turn it off. I would almost use holiday parties as a negative keyword because we don't want to spend a penny on marketing for holiday because we don't have to. We have so many already that we do annually and so many new ones that are coming to us that I certainly wouldn't want to spend any
Party if it
money
is.
marketing for holiday parties.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, in summer, it's really tough because the photo booth world, like some people book like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, but a lot of companies like trade shows and stuff will book 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 months ahead of time. So in the summer, we're booking a lot of jobs for the fall that are trade shows and things like that. So I don't think that I would lower the ad spend. Like we're obviously not booking as many weddings that have a shorter booking window, but
Yeah.
I think just focusing more on conventions and things like that is a better approach.
No, that's great feedback because you know your area better than anybody else does.
Yeah. So we talked a bit about, I mean, past the actual like posting, obviously we want to make sure things are working, and Laptop touched on that quite a bit. And we've been talking about A/B testing. For anyone that may not know what A/B testing is, can you just give us a very brief explanation of what A/B testing in case someone's never heard that before?
Yeah. It's kind of like the Pepsi challenge in a sense. What you're doing is, let's go landing page or website. So when you run an ad, you tell Google where on your website you would like to go. Right? So when they come to your site, they're given information that's relative to what they typed in because that's what you want to have happen. So let's take 360, for example. You've got, you bid on the keyword 360 photo booth. Your ad talks about 360, and now you send them to a 360 landing page on your site. It could be just your regular 360 photo booth page. Or maybe you send them to your general photo booth page that mentions all your stuff, including 360s. So what you can actually do in Google is split the traffic 50-50, sending half the traffic to the 360 only page and half the traffic to the all photo booth page. And then you have to give it enough time, but eventually you'll start getting enough data to say which one converted better, right? So you'll get that data, and that's kind of what you're doing is you're testing the messaging that you're putting in front of the potential customer and how that affects the outcome of that whole journey that happened there.
Yeah, it's very powerful to honing in, like, dare I say, a perfect ad. So you could really just have the exact same copy, image, links, and everything, but a different title, and run that for a few months. And if one title performs significantly better, then use that title, but now use that same title in 2 or 3 ads, but change the copy and run those for 2 or 3 months and see which one runs significantly better, and then change the landing page, and basically just funneling down to the perfect ad for your company and your spend.
Yeah. But even at the ad part, they become easier because they rotate those ad headlines and over time. So it's a little bit easier in that respect that Google will rotate stuff for you and A/B test on your behalf. Because they want not just one headline description, they want so like 13, 14, 15 headlines that they could rotate at any given moment. And same thing with the extra description lines, they could rotate a few of those. And over time, they use their click-through rate algorithm and even your conversion data to kind of like prefer which variation they're going to show to most people.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, you mentioned earlier when you just sign up, Google has these like pre-built automated systems. I can't remember what they're called. You mentioned it though. Remind me real
Smart
quickly.
campaigns and they're called smart campaigns and performance campaigns.
So
Don't
the
do
smart
them.
campaign,
They're not smart.
And so I had done some of my own campaigns, but I also did some smart campaigns to kind of test the waters and see how they would run, with the idea that I would just change them over time. But the issue is you can't change smart campaigns. Like you can't convert them later to regular campaigns. You're just locked
No.
into that forever. And that is kind of how I
Correct.
first approached Art. I was like, hey, I've got all these smart campaigns. I need them converted over. And he's like, you just have to rebuild them. you can't, because I tried to convert them and I couldn't. So I just figured that I didn't know how to do it. So I want to just reiterate, stay away from the smart campaigns, because once they're there, they're there. You can't adjust them or change them.
You also talked
later.
about one other thing that we didn't touch on, which is bidding on competitors. Yeah, it's a desperate move. When you see somebody bidding on a competitor's term, you can sense fear in your competitor if they're bidding on you, and it's a waste of money. Because
essentially that's
I'm
like
going to type in.
To be clear, what he's saying, like let's use Curator and Snappic for an example.
Yes,
if Curator was
example.
using a Google AdWord, but they were using Snappic as a keyword, so when people search for Snappic, they would find Curator. In some industries, it makes sense. In some industries, they suggest doing it. I agree with you, though, that it is a waste of money, because if someone is searching for one of my competitors and I'm paying for that competitor's name, they'll likely click on it and just say, oh, this isn't what I'm looking for, and click right back out. And that just cost me,
exactly
money. And I just,
yeah,
we did it.
I mean, you could do it, but you could also
Years
get
ago
sued
when I was on eBay, we would do some stuff with that. It was called keyword spamming, and eBay would actually started taking your listings off if you were doing that after it got too popular. But yeah,
and you have to be careful. Like if you're bidding on somebody's terms, and if for some strange reason your competitor's name shows up in your ad, that kind of goes against Google's policies. And if your competitor has that trademark, so now you're talking lawsuit. So don't do competitor stuff. It's not worth the time.
And if you're using smart campaigns, sometimes they do that automatically, and you can't really adjust those keywords. So that's another thing to be careful of. Like I think it even came up in the network. So like a year ago, I think I remember one of the manufacturers pointing out that
I remember that
another manufacturer was using their name as a keyword, and it turned out that it was a smart campaign, and they had no control over it.
That's wild.
It's happening. I've actually monitored. There's a couple of the manufacturers now, they're doing it, but they're doing it on purpose. There's a difference. You can tell a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say who they are, because that's not my battle to fight, but it still happens today. It still goes on.
Sure. So you could search your own name in Google and see if some of your competitors come up in the sponsored ads. And if they do, then they're either using your business name as a keyword, or they're using a smart ad, and Google's doing it automatically, which I guess is kind of flattering, because Google thinks your name is so relevant that
exactly. It's flattering because the competitors obviously thinks you're somebody that's doing something just as good, if not better, than what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Any final questions, Lap, or comments?
In my name.
No, I think thank you so much for getting on and talking to us about Google Ads. I learned so much. I learned a lot.
It is very confusing. It can be and I'm learning every day. I'm not 100% an expert in anything. None of us are. But I thank you guys, because, me getting into the photo booth industry, have followed you guys. I've seen you present before. So thank you for sharing your knowledge all this time, because it's only helped me be a better photo boother. And you too, Jason, learning from you every day. Every time you post something out there, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's such a broad topic that we we kind of talked about this before recording, that like, how do we keep this down to a very basic level for people getting into it, because it is so broad. If people have further questions, like, let us know, and those questions can help us hone in on what people really want to know about, and we'll bring back Art for another episode on a specific area of Google Ads if we have, a specific area of questions that we're seeing. But before we leave, Art, let people know how they can get a hold of you if they have any specific follow-up questions or want to hire you for your services.
Really simple. Yeah, you can reach out to me on Facebook, or we just launched a website. It's called Rollup Ads, ROLLADS.com. Sorry, Rollup, ROLUPS, not UPADS.com. So rollupads.com. It's been a long day. Rollupads.com, ROLLUPADS.com. Rollupads.com. I did it spelling bee style.
And if you have any follow-up questions, of course, if you reach out to Art, he's not going to start the timer and send you a bill. You can certainly chat with him as well.
That's the most important thing, because what I'd like to do is jump on these little Zooms and just find out where the person's at and tell them whether they're ready or not first. Sometimes I'm like, no, you're not ready for this. Come back to me when you've gotten XYZ done. Let me see how you're doing, and then we do something. And if not, it's fine. I just feel like I'm helping people out.
Yeah, you took a lot of mystery out of it, because for me it was just all darkness. I did not understand anything about
Just take a
Google
breath.
Ads. Yeah, no, but it's so awesome for you to just share, like the tips and things like that, because that just makes it where someone like me who was very overwhelmed by it, like I feel like if I do want to approach it, it wouldn't be as scary as it was to me before you got on with us.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Art.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Art.
Thank you. Thank you.
To keep the conversation going, join our Facebook group, Pro Booth Talk Community. If you enjoyed this podcast, consider showing your support by subscribing, liking, reviewing, or sharing this topic with someone in the industry.